1. I went to pick up my best friend's pregnancy report and ran into my ex-boyfriend. Jack glanced at the obvious ultrasound image in my hand and casually looked at my belly. How many months? Caught off guard, I blankly replied 30 weeks. Jack chuckled abruptly, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. You're doing well, Luna. The vending machines at hospitals are always faulty. On a scorching hot day, I came to the hospital to do a favor for Lily. By the time I got the report after waiting in line, I was dying of thirst and could only think about getting a cold drink. But the vending machine had issues. The iced tea was stuck, teasingly just out of reach. I was just left staring at it, yearning for a sip. I fanned myself with one hand while trying to jiggle the machine. Suddenly, a hand reached over mine, startling me with a familiar touch I hadn't felt in ages. I'd heard he got transferred to the top hospital in South City, but I thought the place was big enough, especially since I was only visiting the obstetrics department, and I probably wouldn't run into him. Fate, though, loves a good reunion story. Luna, he said, his voice as clear as I remembered. I looked up, seeing him in a pristine white coat with a medical mask covering most of his face. But I knew those amber eyes with their sparkling water-like quality all too well. It was my ever-dashing ex, Jack. I nodded awkwardly. Jack. Jack nodded back at me, then suddenly frowned. Why are you at the hospital? Are you feeling okay? I didn't even know what I was being evasive about, and instinctively hid the prenatal report behind me. But Jack has a sharp eye and quickly spotted the prominent ultrasound image. You're pregnant? I could have clarified, but the arrival of another presence halted my explanation. Dr. Jack, aren't you coming? I've been waiting for a while. A woman, wearing a loose pink t-shirt with long lustrous hair down to her waist, was speaking. Even behind sunglasses, her beauty was evident. Standing with Jack, they made quite a striking pair, especially with her unmistakably rounded belly. Seeing how comfortable they were with each other, it clicked why a cardiologist like Jack was in the obstetrics department. But to see that after all these years, Jack's taste remains unchanged. When I had pursued Jack years ago, he turned me down by saying, sorry, my ideal type is long-haired, gentle girls. I once touched my shoulder-length short hair, thinking he had said it just to reject me. I didn't expect that after all these years he'd still fancy the same type of look. Ran into an old classmate. Jack didn't seem interested in introducing me to her. And who could blame him? Introducing an ex to a current flame sounds awkward. You go ahead, I'll join you in a bit. The woman gave me a curious look but said nothing more and went into the examination room. Luna, are you pregnant? Jack seemed really interested in this question. Frustrated by the heat, the annoying vending machine, or perhaps this unexpected reunion, I felt an irrational need to compete. Yeah, so what? I puffed out my stomach, trying to seem convincing. Jack rubbed the pad of his thumb, a telltale sign of his annoyance. How many months? I hesitated. I blurted out the numbers from the report without thinking. 30 weeks. Realizing I'd slipped, I drew back my feigned bump, relieved that I wore a loose dress. Jack wouldn't notice, right? Jack chuckled, stepping closer to pin me between him and the vending machine. It felt chilly, but Jack's gaze burned intensely. He shed his mask, revealing his lips and the familiar tiny mole I'd kissed so many times before. He studied me and grinned slightly. You're doing just great, Luna. He leaned in, and for a moment I thought he might kiss me. I stared back, alert, when the vending machine thudded behind me. I wasn't sure what he did, but the iced tea finally came loose. He backed up a step, picked it up and handed it over. Our fingers brushed briefly as I accepted it. Since you're going to be a mom, maybe try not to use brute force for everything? Jack's words were lost on me as embarrassment from my actions filled me. Thanks. I'll treat you to dinner sometime, I stammered, bolting away, iced tea untouched. Even from afar, I felt Jack's gaze linger on me. Seriously? What kind of coincidence is that? Exclaimed Lily from behind her work desk. She accepted the strawberries I was rinsing for her. How does such a thing happen in the sprawling South City the moment he gets transferred here? I buried my face into a cushion. I'm not fetching your prenatal stuff next time. I don't care what you say. After breaking up with Jack, I fantasized about how we'd meet again. I'd be perfectly dolled up, dressed to kill, appearing like a goddess before him. Never like this, sweaty hair plastered to my face sans makeup, and wearing a ridiculous Hello Kitty tee. Sorry, couldn't leave this afternoon's meeting. Lily apologized sincerely with hands clasped in a praying gesture. I peeked at her. So, when are you planning to start your maternity leave? You're still working so hard. Yet her eyes stayed glued to her computer screen. It's expensive to raise kids. If I don't start saving now, I'll be even busier after the baby is born. I felt the pain in Lily's voice and couldn't bring myself to say anything more. Lily's husband was a jerk. He cheated on her while she was pregnant, and as soon as she found out, she divorced him. She could leave a man who didn't love her, but she couldn't let go of a child she loved. As her friend, all I could do was help in any way possible. I put a cushion behind her back to make her more comfortable. Don't worry, Lily. When the baby comes, I'll be like half a dad to him. I'll protect him well. Lily gave me a grateful look. You're so kind. Since you're half a dad already, can you come with me for my checkup next week? No way. Are you done, Luna? You're really making a big deal out of this. I was trying to put on fake eyelashes and got distracted, sticking them on crookedly. Lily, if you saw your ex at the hospital, what would you do? Lily smiled. I'd kill him. I shivered. If you're meeting an ex, you gotta dress up. Just give me 5 more minutes. Lily stood at the door, looking at me, suspiciously pointing to my belly. Are you sure you want to go out like that? I had stuffed a fake pregnancy belly for drama purposes, and it looked pretty real. Just in case. I talked a big game. Jack might not have noticed at first glance, but seeing him again might jog his memory. The taxi driver seemed a bit embarrassed seeing us 2 pregnant women. He kept the speed under 40 the whole way. When we arrived, he tried to help us out. I waved him off. No need, sir, I got it. I got out, jogged around the car to Lily's side, and helped her out. The driver was silent for a moment, then chuckled awkwardly. That's one agile pregnant lady. While Lily went for her checkup, despite my fake belly, I had nothing to do, so I wandered around the maternity department. I drew attention since I was moving too lightly, then remembered the fake belly and slowed down, taking small steps to the elevator. I looked up at the hospital directory. The maternity ward was on the 4th floor, cardiac on the 16th. They were ages apart and I wasn't even sure if Jack was on duty. I pouted. I came to the hospital today thinking I'd see Jack, hence the full makeup. If I didn't see him, this whole morning would be wasted. I was torn about whether to go up to the 12th floor on a whim, but even if I saw Jack, how would I explain being at cardiac? It'd be obvious I was there for him. Then it hit me. Why did I even need to see Jack? We've been broken up for a while, had nothing special anymore. Just then the elevator pinged and it was here. I didn't notice it was going down and almost stepped in, but stopped when I saw Jack inside. He was about to step out, but seeing me, he stepped back in. Aren't you coming in? I nodded hesitantly and hurried into the elevator. Take it easy. Seeing my haste, Jack furrowed his brows, shielding me a bit. I avoided him, fearing he'd notice the fake belly. Jack's hand hung mid-air before he clenched it and pulled back. Here for a checkup? Yeah. Your belly today. Jack glanced at my pregnant belly. Looks much bigger than last week. I touched my nose. It was just loose clothes last week. Plus, my frame is small and thin, so pregnancy isn't that obvious. Jack nodded, agreeing. Yeah, you're really too thin right now. Pregnancy must be tough, huh? His unexpected concern startled me. I thought about Lily's daily struggles and nodded. It is tough. But what can you do, right? If it were me, I'd never let you suffer like this. What? I thought I heard wrong. Did you come alone? Jack asked. I nodded. Jack rubbed his thumb, his voice dropping. Where's the kid's father? He should be by your side at such a hard time. Mentioning this made me a bit angry. Ugh, don't bring up that jerk. Cheated on me during pregnancy. We're done with him. Divorced? I clenched my fists, furious. Yeah. Why keep such a guy around waiting for the new year? I heard a soft chuckle and turned suspiciously to check. Jack's face was still expressionless. Where are you headed? I'll take you. I texted Lily, asking her to reach out when she was done. I'm not done with my checkup yet, just came out for some air. Jack, you know this area well. Any place to sit for a bit? Jack took me to a cafe. He brought me hot milk, then for some reason naturally sat across from me. As hot as it was, I didn't want to drink anything warm. I watched Jack's iced Americano longingly. Pregnant women can't have coffee. I touched my protruding belly, pouting. I know. Jack took a sip of his coffee, liquid rolling down his throat. I watched, swallowing hard in response. To distract myself, I searched for topics. Jack, weren't you at a hospital in North City after graduation? When did you move to South City? Jack stared at me. There was someone I wanted to see in South City, so I came. I immediately thought of the long-haired girl I'd seen at the hospital, biting my lip. Oh. My voice turned cold. Looks like Dr. Jack has changed, even willing to swallow his pride now. Not at all, Jack replied. I was immature before, too stubborn. I won't be like that anymore. I snorted. 3. Love runs deep, doesn't it? I'm almost in tears. Jack looks at me and suddenly speaks up. Luna, what are your plans after the baby is born? I'm still a bit mad at him, so I reply on purpose, Dr. Jack, that's crossing the line, don't you think? Jack's eyes drop and he doesn't say a word. After a long pause, I can't help but continue, just the usual, you know? I blink, raise him and stuff. You can't open a bottle cap, you need someone to coax you to sleep, and you can't walk a few steps without needing to be carried, or you'll just plop down. Jack suddenly rattles off my embarrassing stories. I quickly get up and cover his mouth, stopping him from going on. Stop it, I said, stop it. How do you remember all this embarrassing stuff? Jack holds my hand but doesn't move away. His breath warms my palm as he speaks. I remember everything about you, he says. Dr. Jack. You're sounding a little romantic here. Luna, it's tough for you to take care of yourself. How are you going to raise a child alone? I pull my hand back and scoff. Don't you worry about it, Dr. Jack. I'll figure it out somehow. Sorry if my embarrassing stories were such a burden on your memory. You must have been so annoyed back then. I intentionally tease him. I didn't understand how hard your studies and career were. I was immature, causing drama while dating. I won't do that anymore. The more I talked, the more I went on until Jack said, I never thought of it as hard work. I froze for a moment. I love it when you act cute with me. I like it when you're a bit spoiled. I enjoyed taking care of you, Jack continues. For so many years I didn't want to disturb you. I thought you'd be happier without me. Gently, Jack brushes the corner of my eye, and with his touch I feel his tenderness. But now you're divorced and you have to raise a little one alone. If I knew this would happen, I would have never let go. I look at Jack astonished. He'd never expressed himself so openly before. What's the point of saying this now? What would your wife think? Wife? Jack pauses, confused. I've never been married. So that girl last time? She's my advisor's daughter, Jack says with a hint of sorrow, his eyes silently saying, I'm nothing like you. Luna, I haven't dated anyone since we broke up. Really? I awkwardly touch my nose. I'm different now. I can give you the life you want. Jack kneels in front of me, placing his hand on my knee. As he reaches for my belly, I slide away, making him look hurt. You're not well enough to travel around, so after the baby, marry me, will you? Cold sweat drips down the side of my face, mirroring the condensation on a cup of iced coffee in the warm air. Jack, someone with so much pride, is setting aside his dignity, kneeling to ask for a chance to be the father of a child I may not even have. Facing Jack's sincere confession, I wonder, if he finds out I'm neither divorced nor pregnant, would he kill me? Lily texts me, saying she's finished with her tests. That gives me a moment to breathe. I say, let me think about it. Jack watches over me as we head back to the hospital. Now that we've talked, I can feel he's much more affectionate. As people pile into the elevator, he carefully shields me from getting jostled. I glance up and see his sharp jawline and the familiar fresh scent that's uniquely him. They say scents trigger memories more than anything else. Smelling it takes me back to that first summer we met. Jack was a senior 2 years above me, and long before I enrolled he was already a star on campus. But I didn't know that back then. I just thought, this senior is really handsome. Jack assisted his advisor with freshman medical checkups. He kept a stern face the whole time, which was kinda intimidating. When he took my arm to check my blood pressure, I held his hand in return. Hey, you're really handsome. Can I have your WeChat? Jack pulled his hand away. Sorry, you're not my type. Now that I think back, I really was pretty thick-skinned then. I wasn't fazed. Instead, I asked with a grin, so what's your type, senior? In his icy tone, Jack described a girl who looked nothing like me. Long black hair, an oval face, shy and gentle. Lost in memories, a sense of sadness envelopes me. I blink away the sting in my nose. Jack's watching me quietly, and I don't want him to see my tears. Discreetly, I wipe them on his lab coat. But that only makes it worse. My poorly glued false eyelash ends up on his coat, perfectly arched like an eye staring out from his white garment. All my sorrow vanishes in an instant. I burst out laughing. Jack follows my gaze and laughs too. Lily's clapping for me. Bravo, Luna, just bravo. No denying your endless charm keeps Dr. Jack coming back. I clench my fist. Stop making fun, Lily. I confided in you for advice, not to be laughed at. Lily types away and smirks. What advice can I give? Dr. Jack seems great, just go for it. I glare at Lily with mock suspicion. You're just trying to nick some hospital contacts through me and Dr. Jack, huh? Lily feigns shock. 4. Luna, are you like the little voice in my head or what? You heartless woman, I'm never talking to you again. Don't get mad. How am I supposed to help you then? I don't think you're really over him. You've been single for so long. Are you telling me you've never thought about him? That's not the point right now. But what about the baby? What are you gonna do about the kid? I was pacing around anxiously. Lily said, that's easy. Just stall for another month or two. Once I give birth, I'll let you adopt my baby, and you can pretend to be the mom. How's that sound? Are you serious? Lily laughed, just kidding. I felt deflated all of a sudden. So what should I do then? What else can you do? Lily went back to her work. Luna, confessing sincerely is always the best policy. Resisting only makes it worse. Lily practically shoved me out the door to go confess. As if guided by fate, I ended up wearing that silicone pregnancy belly again. Lily rolled her eyes. Luna, are you addicted to acting or what? Just give me some time to mentally prepare, okay? Jack's car was parked downstairs. In my head, I planned to wait for a good moment to confess to him. I mean, if he sees me as soon as I go down and asks what's up, and I have to say, oh sorry Jack, I'm not pregnant, that would be the end of us, right? When he saw me, Jack's eyes lit up a bit. Luna, I thought you'd never want to see me again. I awkwardly touched my nose. Lately, I've been trying to keep a low profile, maintaining just a friendly online friendship with Jack. If it weren't for Lily practically kicking me out, I'd probably still be hiding. You agreed to meet me. Can I take that as you've figured out the answer to your problem? I nodded absent-mindedly. Jack, let's eat first. After dinner, I have something to tell you. Jack quietly replied, all right. There was a hint of a smile in his voice. He took me to a pretty famous Hunan restaurant. I looked up surprised. Jack, I thought you didn't eat spicy food? Jack squinted his eyes. I do now. And I wanted to enjoy something you like too. I was speechless. Jack's really changed a lot. Back when we were dating years ago, Jack wouldn't compromise even a bit for me. Whether it was about food, lifestyle, or work, he always just went the way he saw fit. Since I was the one who pursued Jack, back then I always thought, fine, whoever falls in love first loses anyway. Even when I felt hurt inside, I kept telling myself not to mind it too much. I just figured since I was difficult too, we should just accept each other's flaws. Later on, after Jack graduated and moved far away to a big hospital, we started a long-distance relationship. Gradually, I got frustrated with him disappearing sometimes. I'm someone who needs constant replies in a relationship, so we had lots of small fights. Until one day, all those small issues finally exploded. I questioned why he couldn't stay in South City, where there were decent hospitals for him too. His voice hoarse, sounding tired. Luna, it's different. North City has the top-notch medical equipment. The cardiac surgery department here is the best nationally and internationally. I can achieve more here. Yeah, right. Jack had set this path for himself a long time ago. How could a single Luna change that? What about me? Is there a place for me in your future plans at all? On the other end of the call, Jack was silent. In my future, I've imagined countless paths with Jack. But in his future, I wasn't necessary. He decided to move to North City. After we started dating, he didn't even consult me about it. Love gradually crumbled in the cracks. And suddenly I felt so tired. Let's just end this, Jack. I don't think we're right for each other. My first love. Just like that, I lightly let it go over the phone. So why did you just stop contacting me? Thinking about it still makes me so mad. Darn Jack, annoying Jack. Back then, even though I blocked him, the next day I still lay in bed staring at my phone for so long. After all, being alumni from the same school, he had so many ways to reach me. Yet, when I broke up with him over the phone, He didn't even try to explain or hold on. Jack was peeling shrimp for me, with his well-defined fingers that looked really strong. Luna, I did go to look for you. When? Jack looked down, lips pressed together. That same night you broke up with me, I bought a plane ticket back to South City. And then I saw you confessing to a junior from the same department. That happened. I racked my brain trying to remember that night. But all I recall was crying my eyes out, wanting to drink, but being too scared to go to a bar. So I ordered a pack of beer to drink on the school lawn. Though in my memory, I do kind of remember a junior helping me back to the dorm. I thought you must have liked someone else already. Which is why you broke up with me. And then? Jack looked calm. And then I just bought another ticket and went back. I was so foolish back then. If it were me now. I swallowed. If it was the current you, what would you do? With a click, Jack broke off a shrimp head. He looked up, gave me a smile full of intention. Luna, you're pregnant. Eating too much spicy food isn't good for you. I swallowed again. Jack went out to wash his hands, and I worriedly patted my fake belly, thinking about how to confess when he came back. This Hunan restaurant was situated downtown, and the window of the private room Jack booked opened right onto the street. I looked out at the pedestrians in distress, when suddenly I saw a very familiar figure. 5. Dressed all in black, rushing through the crowd. Even though his face was shadowed by a black cap, a little hard to see, his sleazy posture was unmistakable. I'd recognize that slimy guy even if he turned to ash. I quickly sent a message to Lily, then gracefully jumped out the window to chase him down. Hey, you stop right there. The guy, startled, looked back and saw it was me. When his gaze flickered to my stomach, he hesitated, but my steady stride towards him got him moving again. You take one more step, you're getting an extra beating later. This piece of crap is Lily's deadbeat ex. Cheated on her during her pregnancy, got taken to court by Lily with all the evidence, and instead of paying up, he ran off with Lily's savings and his mistress. What a jerk. Hey, you there. Be a pal and stop that guy for me. He cheated on his pregnant wife and stole money. Yeah, him. Maybe my pregnant woman vibe made me sound convincing. A dude on a rental bike sped up and kicked the lowlife, knocking him to the ground. To make sure he wouldn't get away again, I sat on his back, twisting his arms behind him. The sleazeball groaned. I leaned over him, speaking in a menacing tone. Just wait till Lily gets here. That's your end, jerk. Suddenly, a voice came from above. Luna, what are you doing? I looked up to see Jack, face taut, looking down at me. Not realizing anything was wrong, I explained. Jack, it's him. The piece of crap who cheated during the pregnancy. Got it. Jack hauled me up, brushed the dust off my clothes, and told me to stand aside. I was confused, but watched Jack lift the guy off the ground like he weighed nothing. Luna, close your eyes. Close my eyes. Why, wow. Jack punched the guy in the stomach. Before he could recover, Jack landed another punch, each one precisely hitting the guy's weak spots. I turned away, not wanting to see, and texted Lily. Lily, where are you? If you don't show up soon, Jack's gonna kill the guy first. As the guy stopped making any noise, I rushed to pull Jack's sleeve. Jack, stop. You'll kill him. Jack tossed him aside like trash. I stared at Jack's arms under his shirt, wondering why they seemed so slim yet were so strong. Luna, you're not hurt, right? I was puzzled. I seemed perfectly fine to me, full of energy. I'm all right. Didn't you see me? Jack pulled me into his arms, sighing in relief. Good, you scared me. All those hidden emotions bubbled up with Jack's word. As I lay in his arms and whimpered, Jack, I ran too fast, and now I'm so out of breath. Feel my chest. My heart's racing. Before Jack could respond, Lily arrived. She came in a police car, glancing down at the unconscious sleazeball. 2 officers cuffed him and took him away. Lily, holding her stomach, slowly walked over to Jack and me. I felt a bit embarrassed under her gaze, and tried to leave Jack's arms, but he wouldn't let me. I was stuck there, talking with Lily. Wow, made up already? Lily greeted Jack, pinching my cheek. Luna, my lucky star. You've really done me a solid catching this jerk. How should I thank you? I puffed my chest out. Just doing what I should. Lily said, you're amazing. Just name what you want to eat or buy, and it's yours. Lily turned to Jack. Dr. Jack, thank you so much. You've been a huge help. No problem, Jack said calmly. How should I repay you? Oh, I know. Lily pulled out her phone and tapped a few times. There, I sent you some cherished Luna videos. Bet you'll enjoy them. What did you send? I protested first, unable to reach Lily, trying to get to Jack's phone. But he dodged me. Thanks. There was a bit more sincerity in his voice now. The officers called Lily over. They needed her for a statement at the station. I quickly offered I'll go with you. Lily eyed Jack and me, all snugly, and shot me a playful look. Never mind, you and Dr. Jack catch up. I've got my lawyer. She took a few steps then turned back, saying to Jack, Dr. Jack, Luna might be a bit imaginative at times, but she's more genuine than anyone. Be good to her, don't mess up. If you break her heart again, Lily smirked defiantly, I'll hide her away, you won't find her. I felt Jack's arm tighten around me. His jaw clenched as he promised I will. The crowd thinned, leaving just me and Jack on the lively street. He kept holding me, like he feared I'd disappear if he let go. I felt a bit awkward, poking Jack's arm. Jack, Lily was just trying to scare you. You can let go, I won't run off. Jack loosened his grip a bit, grasping my arms, studying me. Luna, you're really okay, right? I'm fine. 6. I spun around in his arms, then spread my hands. See, I'm perfectly fine. All right then. Jack laughed, but his eyes didn't quite match the smile. He let me go, his gaze sliding down. So, could you please explain this to me? He pointed at my flat abdomen. What's going on here, Luna? I looked down and my face dropped. Oh no. When did my silicone padding fall off? Without the support of my fake pregnancy belly, my stomach was flat. The only bump was from the shrimp I just ate, hardly resembling a woman over 30 weeks pregnant. Jack, let me explain. I pleaded. I wanted to come clean with you. The reason I came out with you today is to tell you. I didn't mean to hide this from you. Plus, you have no idea how exhausting it is running around with this fake belly in this heat. I was dying. I pouted at Jack, unable to help myself. He playfully tapped my nose. Oh, you're quite proud of yourself, aren't you? His affectionate gesture made me think the anger had passed. I smiled and jumped into his arms, only to see his expression turn cold again. My smile disappeared instantly. Why did you lie? To make you angry. Why intentionally make me angry? Because I can't stand seeing you close to other women. Jack's face still showed anger, but the corners of his mouth lifted just a pixel or two. I thought I might be imagining it and blinked. Luna, so you're quite the jealous type, huh? Yeah, so what? Jack could barely keep from laughing. I didn't notice his smile and huffed. That's just the way I am. I can't change it, and I don't want to. So regretting it now after hearing all that? I thought about when we were in the cafe. He thought I was pregnant and got on one knee, sincerely asking me to marry him. Since then he's been so caring and protective. Now that he knows I'm not pregnant, he has an attitude change and a sour face? Men. Go ahead and take your proposal back if you want. I didn't accept it in the first place. Jack nodded seriously. I probably should. I shot him a glare and started to walk away when he quickly grabbed my hand. Luna, I just think that proposal was too rushed. It lacked ceremony. And I didn't even have a ring. I was planning to ask you again. I paused, my heart speeding up a bit. You're not pregnant. And you've never been married. I'm genuinely relieved. Jack pulled me into a hug and sighed. Not because of anything else, but I'm relieved that these hardships you spoke of didn't really happen to you. You're still the brave, fearless, decisive Luna. I sniffled, gathering my emotions. I even tidied my hair a little. Usually, at this point, wouldn't Jack pull out a dazzling diamond ring and propose? I'd already planned it out. I would refuse at least a couple of times before finally saying yes, so he'd know to cherish me. But I waited and waited. He just whispered sweet things in my ear, with no ring in sight. I couldn't help but prompt him. Jack, where's the ring? Jack looked a bit taken aback. At home. I widened my eyes. You didn't bring it? Then what was the point of all this tonight? Luna, I didn't expect tonight to go this fast. Because honestly, I thought you invited me out just to turn me down. Jack laughed a bit bitterly. Based on what I know about you, You'd at least reject me 2 or 3 times before considering my proposal. So frustrating. And he guessed exactly what I was thinking, which made me even madder. My embarrassment was through the roof. I told Jack to take me home, and got a door slammed in my face. Lily's voice came through the phone easily. You can just get a room at a hotel. I glanced at Jack watching me from not far away and whispered, I didn't bring any ID. How would I book a room, Lily? Isn't that perfect, Lily teased. Just use this opportunity to crash at Dr. Jack's place. I gritted my teeth, Lily. I'm seriously suspecting this was your plan all along. Oops, bad signal, she feigned. I can't hear you, gotta go. Feeling stuck, I resignedly walked back toward Jack's car. Jack asked, what happened, Luna? I cleared my throat. Jack, could I take a look at the engagement ring you left at home? Jack's house was a mix of class and coziness. He bent down to grab a pair of house slippers from the shoe cabinet for me. They fit perfectly. Nice place you got here, Jack, I said after taking a tour and settling on the couch. Jack placed a pink mug in front of me, sweetly smiling. If you find this place small, I have a house in West Side too. It's a standalone piece. We could live there after we're married. I kicked his foot playfully. I haven't even agreed to marry you yet. Aren't you planning a bit too far ahead? All right then, show me the ring to prove you're serious. I needed to get Jack away for a sec. There was something I had to check out. Jack sighed, ruffling my hair before heading to the upstairs bedroom. The second he was out of sight, I grabbed his phone from the coffee table. Lily mentioned she sent him some video of me. I bet it's nothing good. I had to delete it before Jack could see and ruin my image. I lost count of how many phones Jack had replaced since college, but he still used a 6-digit passcode. I tried my birthday and it unlocked. 7. Scrolling through his inbox, I quickly spotted the zip file Lily sent him. It was labeled localLunaYouth.zip. Oh my gosh, what did Lily send to Jack? I rushed to delete it, but accidentally clicked to unzip instead. Afraid of accidentally deleting Jack's personal files, I couldn't select everything at once. So I had to delete them one by one. A quick glance showed about 20 videos. Most were from my college days. There was one of me standing in line during military training, participating in a campus singing contest, and defending my thesis. There was even one where I was in my dorm, hugging a blanket, rolling around and praising Jack. You're so handsome, Jack. That one was deleted first. Toward the end, one video grabbed my attention. It began with shaky footage, a glimpse of me, and then cut to a random guy's face. I heard Lily's voice. Jack, I told you to look after her. How did you let her get so drunk? The guy sounded exasperated. Cousin, I didn't know she couldn't handle her drinks. It was just a bottle of beer, and she's like this. In the video, I flopped onto the guy. I like you. Why do I like you so much, Jack? Will you date me, please? I laughed briefly and then started bawling. Jack, you jerk. I hate you. I'm never talking to you again. Then I giggled through tears. But if you kiss me, I'll forgive you, okay? I nearly blacked out. Is that lunatic really me in the video? Jack seemed just as puzzled. Cousin, has she been hanging off me all the way? First saying she loves me, then saying she wants to strangle me. Is she doing this because she's drunk, or is she always like this? Lily responded, don't worry about it. Just hand her over to me. I'll take her back to her room. The video ended with more shakiness before fading to black. Long-buried memories started resurfacing. That explains why Lily's cousin always avoided me like a mouse avoids a cat, and the misunderstanding Jack mentioned that night. Help! Do I keep my innocence by showing this video to Jack, or save my dignity by deleting it? Suddenly, the room lights dimmed, leaving my phone as the only source of light illuminating my face. I nervously turned it off. What's happening? Is there a power outage? Warm yellow lights started coming on, one by one, with petals floating down. Following the lights, Jack appeared holding a big bouquet of roses, slowly walking toward me. When did you prepare all this, Jack? I stood there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do with my hands and feet. Jack's eyes sparkled. Because I just don't want the first time you see a ring to be when I'm proposing. He knelt on one knee and opened a ring box. The design was unique, with the diamond encircled in a way that resembled a Mobius strip. Infinity looping and eternity. I made this ring myself. Jack looked a bit embarrassed. I might not be good at this kind of thing. If you don't like it, I can get you another one. I glanced at the ring and said it's fine, as long as it's big enough. Jack laughed. He reached out his hand and solemnly said, My dear Luna, I love you. Will you spend your life with me? Jack looked calm, though his hands were trembling. Staring into his eyes, I could barely suppress a smile. No. Though he expected this outcome, Jack tried to hide his disappointment, smiled, and lowered his hand. But I pulled him up. I smiled at him, softly saying, So you'll have to try harder next time when you propose. My dear Jack. The end.